We apologize for starting 15 minutes late. We had a longer discussion in executive, but now we're going to start with the board meeting. Good afternoon. The board meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its component units is now being called to order. Today's in-person meeting is also being held virtually via a teleconference with the proceedings live streamed from the Port Authority website. Earlier today, the nominating committee met in executive session. Its report will be filed with the official minutes of today's board meeting. The commissioners also met in executive session earlier today to discuss matters related to security or public safety, matters involving ongoing negotiations or reviews of contracts or proposals, matters related to personnel or personnel procedures, and to discuss and act upon matters related to the purchase, sale, or lease of real property where disclosure would affect the value thereof or the public interests. We will begin first with a solemn moment of silence in observance of the upcoming 31st anniversary of the first terrorist attack on World Trade Center, and the memory of the 6 victims, including 4 Port Authority employees and an unborn child who perished on February 26, 1993. I ask people to stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Tragically, we also lost 2 members of the Port Authority family recently. They passed in January. We lost Gregory Urban, a facility supervisor from Tunnels, Bridges, and Terminals in the engineering department with 34 years of service. And we lost Jordan Miller, a customer service representative at the Port Authority bus terminal in the Tunnels, Bridges, and Terminals department, who had 12 years at the Port Authority service. Again, we ask for a moment of silence for those 2 of our family members who passed away. Thank you, and we ask that the George's family and Jordan's family, we will keep them in our prayers, and if they need any assistance, and we've reached out to them, we will be here for them because they will always be part of our Port Authority family. Moving along in the agenda, February is Black History Month, a time dedicated to honoring the accomplishments and contributions of Black and African Americans. As part of Black History Month, the agency is hosting a series of educational and celebratory events for its employees throughout February. I encourage staff to take part in these very important events. I know that a number of commissioners want to speak. Commissioner Eve?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Yes, honored to be actually the first woman of African descent to serve as commissioner of this august board. And just want to reiterate, I mean, you have said it a number of times, the vice chair, the executive director has, in private session and also in our public board sessions. But I can't underscore enough how proud I am of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, its leadership, the commissioners, and every single employee of the port. You know, we are celebrating the contributions of people of African descent this month, but the work that this organization has done, particularly at the commencement of the Black Lives Matter movement, but frankly even before then, but certainly since then, to make the port not only a more diverse, but a more equitable, more inclusive organization that serves to the benefit of the entire organization and the thousands of customers we serve every day. The work that the port has done over the past few years in particular has not only been best in class, it has been, in my view, nationally, if not world leading. We are the go-to agency, and your colleagues and your team members, Rick, are the go-to folks across the country to help other organizations in the transportation infrastructure space, and not how to be the best, highest performing organization they can be. And key to that happening is having a diverse, equitable, and inclusive organization. So every month and every day gives us an opportunity to highlight that fact, but I think this month of Black History Month gives us an opportunity to do so as well. And the last thing I'll say is so proud of the work that's been done that has not been easy, that it has involved lots of frank conversations. But nothing that any of us has been involved in that has been great has been easy. and but the organization continues to move forward in that respect, and also continues to be best in class in terms of our engagement with minority and women-owned firms with respect to the billions of dollars of infrastructure projects with which are engaged. So. Yes, excited about it being Black History Month, but frankly, even more excited about having the opportunity to highlight all the great work that we do each and every day. So,
Commissioner Nee, thank you very much. And I want to thank you, Commissioner, for being that leading voice on the board when we deal with, and you've talked very forcefully during the times of crisis we've had over the last 3 or 4 years that we've had to face and confront some of these social issues and challenges. And you have brought an unbelievably unique and wonderful perspective, having some of those tough decisions and conversations. So thank you very much for leading the way with your strong voice.
My pleasure, Mr. Chair.
And I just wanted to second, I know you, I respect you, I love you, and keep going. You're doing a good job.
Back at you, my brother.
Okay, anybody else? All righty, moving along. Today's meeting is the first of 2024. If you could believe 2024, it's shocking even to say that. Chris, 2024. Crazy. Is the agency's annual meeting. Under the bylaws, officers are elected at the annual meeting, and as such, the nominating committee met in executive session prior to the meeting in connection with the election of officers. Commissioner LaBarbera is the chair of the nominating committee because I believe you have the longest tenure here.
Yes.
May we have you report, Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with the bylaws of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and each of its 3 subsidiary corporations, the Port Authority Trans-Hudson Corporation, the Newark Legal and Communications Center Urban Renewal Corporation, and the New York and New Jersey Railroad Corporation, the nominating committees met in executive session prior to today's meeting in connection with the annual election of officers. On behalf of the nominating committees, I desire to report that at the meetings held earlier today, in accordance with the relevant bylaws, the committees, by unanimous action, and I'd like to underscore unanimous action, submit the nomination of Kevin O'Toole for the election of the office of chairman, Jeffrey H. Linford to the office of vice chairman, and Richard Cotton for the election of executive director of the Port Authority and president of each of the 3 subsidiary corporations. By unanimous action, and again I underscore unanimous action, the committee also submits the following nominations as officers of the Port Authority of the New York and New Jersey: James E. McCoy as secretary, Amy H. Fisher as general counsel, Elizabeth M. McCarthy as chief financial officer, Daniel G. McCarron as comptroller, and Shireen N. Keller as treasurer. Do any nominating committee members wish to make a statement concerning this proposal? Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner LaBarbera. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Here, a second. Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
Votes are in order. Motion carries. Slate's been elected. Congratulations to all of those.
Congratulations, Kevin. Congratulations, Jeffrey, to all.
Just a couple of quick words, and don't want to dwell on it. As I was coming in today, I was thinking about the reorg, the first meeting of the year, and it just dawned on me. We started. I call it Rick, not Richard, just so you know. I hope you're more comfortable with that. We started this thing back in 2017, and we said we never knew how long this ride was going to be and how long this unity, and as Commissioner LaBarbera said, this togetherness, this unanimous, and to this day, we have every single vote has been a unanimous front, which is pretty extraordinary. But But I will tell you, and I've gone to places in public life, in the Senate and other places, that have given me great honor. But to serve here as the chair of this board, with this vice chair and my fellow commissioners, and with this amazing executive director, Rick Cotton, who I say is by far the most amazing public servant and individual I've ever worked with in 40 years of public service. Amazing. We wouldn't be here but for his tenacity and leadership, and all the wonderful qualities that we know he brings. But beyond that, to serve with those professionals that have been cited here, and to serve with, not under or above, the 8,000 employees, I will tell you, it is an honor of a lifetime. So when I hear you say that roll call, and I hear you list those names, and we talk about this ticket that has been together for this ride of a lifetime, bringing this agency from where it was to where it is, to where it will be, it's amazing. And I say this, and this is the line for 2024, like the best is yet to come. And it's all possible. It is all possible because of this wonderful sisterhood and brotherhood of this organization that we have, the commissioners. To each commissioner that are here and present or remote, I say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for giving me the honor of a lifetime. To my vice chair, my partner, I thank you for our partnership. And we may have differences, we may have different perspectives, we may have different zip codes, but we have a common spirit that we both care so much about this place called the Port Authority. And I thank you for the privilege of serving with you. And Rick, you know how I feel about you.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Leadership starts at the top, and you are our leader. And we can bask in the reflected glory of your leadership. And I don't want to be too self-congratulatory on behalf of all the commissioners, but you deserve a round of applause.
All right, enough about me. Anybody else? We good? We good? Sorry, Chris. Thank you again. Let's move ahead. The votes are in order. It's been approved. I now request for our Executive Director, Rick Cotton, for his monthly report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to also thank you for this partnership, which has been, in my view, an extremely productive one. Thank the board for their support, consistent support, and continue to hope that our results justify the confidence that the board has given to us. In terms of my report this month, I want to cover two broad topics. One is I want to report on the 2023 operating volumes, which demonstrate the high level at which the agency is performing. And I also want to take note of and report to the board on the bus terminal replacement project, which marked a very important milestone last week of receiving from the federal government its draft environmental impact statement on our project. As I report these numbers, I want to take note of and express thanks to the employees of this agency. It is their efforts which enable the performance I'm about to report on. And I also want to express gratitude to the leaders of the 23 unions that represent the majority of our employees. 2023 was a very strong year. Our airports marked the busiest year ever at our three major airports. The three airports served 144 million passengers and surpassed previous records set in 2019. The record-breaking year was capped with the busiest December Hollywood travel period on record at the airports. The Port of New York and New Jersey handled nearly 8 million TEUs, a standard industry measure, during 2023, a 4.4% increase from its pre-pandemic 2019 levels. And the seaport was the second busiest in the nation for 2023, and that again represents a significant step up in the seaport's performance. It has traditionally, for the past long period of time, been the third busiest. Throughout the period, it has been the busiest on the East Coast. The Port Authority's 4 bridges and 2 tunnels continue to show strong volumes across 2023. Vehicular traffic for the year was up 2% from 2022 and constantly delivered volumes at pre-pandemic 2019 levels. PATH saw consistent growth throughout 2023 and served in 2023 the highest number of riders since the onset of the pandemic. For the year total, ridership increased by 19% from 2022, reaching two-thirds of pre-COVID levels. Again, profound thanks to our employees for delivering these very, very strong results.
Okay.
All right. Thanks to the peanut gallery. Now I want to turn to the Midtown Bus Terminal Replacement Project, Mr. Chairman. That project took a major step forward on Thursday of last week. The FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, published a draft environmental impact statement as part of their environmental review process. That means the review can conclude in the summer, and the project will be able to move very strongly forward. So I want to update the board on the progress related to this project, and I'll then turn it over to Steve Plate, Chief of Major Capital Projects, to provide an update on the NEPA process and bring to the board an item related to additional planning funds. Let me start with a bit of history. And I'm going to be, start with a bit of history. When the Port Authority bus terminal opened in 1950, it was celebrated as a miracle of transportation 73 years ago. But time has not been kind to the bus terminal. The bus terminal has become a poster child for failed legacy infrastructure that desperately needs to be replaced. Commissioners, our replacement project last week took a major step forward, and we are bringing to the bus terminal project the same perspective we have brought to our airport transformation projects. Transportation hubs are gateways. They symbolize the region to visitors and residents alike. Our goal is to build a world-class bus terminal that is worthy of this region. Best-in-class functionality, cutting-edge technology, inspiring civic architecture, support for the surrounding community. As we set out to build a new best-in-class 21st century bus terminal, we have been laser-focused on two key constituencies: the bus commuters who use the facility and the surrounding community. The project is going to be built with three major new structures. The three components are outlined in the rendering up on the screen. A new main terminal building, represented in yellow, between 8th and 9th Avenue. A new staging and storage facility between 9th and 10th, represented in blue. And three new ramps, represented in red, between 10th and 11th Avenue, that will connect buses directly to the Lincoln Tunnel without a bus needing to touch or clog community streets on its way to the terminal. And we're going to build these buildings in two construction phases. One that will stretch from 2024 to 2028, and the other 29 to 32. The wholly new Midtown Bus Terminal will be a $10 billion world-class facility with a 2.1 million square foot main terminal. The new terminal is sized to keep up with demand and to handle commuter volumes projected over the next several decades. It will be a best-in-class facility. It will focus on serving electric buses in the future with an emphasis on net zero greenhouse gas emissions. It will reflect world-class design to ensure that both bus riders and the community find the building appealing, inspiring, and responsive to their needs. And we want it to be a place where our bus riders actually want to be. The bottom line is this: we are committed to taking the busiest bus terminal in the world and transforming it into the best bus terminal in the world. As I said, transportation hubs are gateways. They symbolize the region. Our design will incorporate inspiring and appealing civic architecture and public art. By the way, we have brought in Norman Foster's architecture design firm, Foster & Partners, to ensure that our design is world-class. One of Foster's early design innovations is a proposed closure of 41st Street to allow construction of a multi-story atrium entrance from 8th Avenue, creating a visually inspiring, airy, and light-filled main hall with vastly improved wayfinding and ease of access for commuters to their gates. We will preserve the direct connection to 12 subway lines, and we will offer iconic and appealing concession options that have become a signature of Port Authority facilities, and we will ensure that the concessions serve both bus commuters and the surrounding community. Rather than a fortress that fences the community out, we will build outward-facing concessions that are inviting and cater to the surrounding neighborhoods. Here on the screen, you see an image of the 41st Street entrance as it exists today. Here, you see a transformation. This is our design for the 41st entrance as it will be tomorrow. This shows the dark, dilapidated subway entrance that currently exists coming from the subway to the bus terminal. And here you see the entrance that riders, commuters, residents will see as they enter the bus terminal from the subway in the future once the building is up. In the new building, our proposed plan incorporates the lessons learned in our airport designs. High ceilings, light and airy atmosphere, appealing and inspiring public art installations. We have modeled our design efforts on spaces such as the new LaGuardia Airport, the new Terminal A at Newark Liberty Airport, the Moynihan Train Hall, and the main concourse at Grand Central Station. A new age in design for the Midtown Bus Terminal is coming. In today's world, however, successful infrastructure projects must listen to the community in which it is located. That's exactly what we've done here. Let me tell you about the changes in the new design analyzed by the draft environmental impact statement. On the operational front, the new Midtown Bus Terminal project will move curbside intercity buses off the community streets and into the terminal. Our design will also move idling commuter buses waiting to enter the terminal inside, into the storage and staging facility instead of clogging city streets. I have mentioned the outward-facing concessions and retail, as well as new green space. It will be a truly remarkable facility. I'll now turn this over to Steve Plate to discuss the next steps in the NEPA process and to present to the board our request for approval of additional planning funds.
Thank you, Executive Director, Chair, and Commissioners. As promised, we published a DEIS on February 1st. It was placed in the Federal Register on February 2nd. We will hold a series of public hearings, and we encourage you all the public, to participate. One will be in person at the bus terminal. The other three will be virtual. They'll be located on the PA website and available for streaming if you can't attend any of those. And then ultimately, the goal and the intent is to publish the final EIS and the ROD in third quarter of this year. Commissioners, you've seen, which is evident in the Executive Director's presentation, our team have accomplished a great deal with the bus terminal replacement project. We will continue to move this project forward proactively. We are requesting this authorization for additional planning and advanced engineering services to continue to move this forward as quickly as possible, the new Midtown Bus Terminal project. Truly a game changer. Thank you.
Anything else? Questions, comments? Gary, you were at the press conference.
Well,
Give
yes,
everybody a flavor.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words. So, yes, last Thursday was, I think, a really special day, was the announcement of the environmental impact study. And I attended the press conference, and I just have to say, I mean, the amount of support for this project was overwhelming, I think. I mean, this is a transformative, innovative project, which is going to be an economic engine for the entire community, but beyond that, for the region. And I have to say, whether it was the city council member or the state assembly member or the state senator, and community support from the community boards, everyone at that press conference was very upbeat and very enthusiastic and supportive of this project. To me, again, to be able to be a part of such an iconic change is really an honor. And I have to say that we're looking forward very much to this process moving forward and commencing construction. But I want to thank everyone at the Port Authority, certainly all the staff, certainly Executive Director, Chairman, Vice Chair, Commissioners, Steve Plate, his team, for really keeping this moving and getting us where we are today. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. So, Diane Eller is back there. She said the first time you were talking about this was 2000 and what? 5. 24 years, 20 years later, it's we're still having the conversation. So, Di, just give everybody a sense of the last, forget the last 19 years. Like right now, this is real. This is happening. Talk about what you're looking forward to of what was and what will be.
Well, so this is just such an historic and great opportunity to move this mega project forward. This facility was really a gem when it was built, and it does serve the public well, but it's certainly showing its years. And we had a few years in there where we were running, beyond capacity, and so this project is going to be able to provide both the commuters with what they deserve, which is reliable bus service, and it's going to be able to do so in a way that doesn't have any negative impacts to the community. So this has been a true partnership between the board under Rick's leadership and between major capital programs and tunnels, bridges, and terminals, and the engineering department. So we're and all the other departments in the agency. Not a project like this doesn't happen without a village, right? So we're a village. So anyway, I just congratulate everybody on moving forward on this project. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Diane. When we went to this press conference, it was, and Gary summed it up, there was such a joy, there was such a celebratory mood from the New York City office holders in particular, Manhattan Borough President, Community Board 4, the Assembly members, state senators. It was really magnificent, and they were really focused on, from years ago, went from a no, and then we went through 500 meetings or so and had this very intense collaboration, took on all their concerns, talked about what the state of the art's going to be. And when Gary talks about transformative and innovative, that's exactly what it is. It's transformative. It's going to transform the way people commute in and out of the city. It's going to transform how buses are taken off and stop idling. It's going to transform how it's going to be environmentally sensitive and friendly. It's going to go net zero, which is really cool. It's going to talk about a 3.5-acre park, really amazing. There's so many things about this, and it's a destination. It's no longer you trudge through, I'm going to the bus terminal. People are going to want to stop in the bus terminal, have a dinner, have a social, be part of the community. And when the elected officials who reside in that area, it's talked about, they're looking forward to this. And they recognize there is going to be a lot of work. There's going to be, as we talk about pain points, there's going to be a lot of construction. It's going to be difficult in the busiest block or 2 or 3 or 4 in New York City over the next 8 years. But it's going to change how people look and view New York City. It's going to change how people look and view transporting in here. And at some point, when you see the numbers, in terms of the construction numbers, is 10 billion. In terms of jobs, 6,000 to 8,000 people are going to be at work for many years. In terms of tax revenue, tax base, economic opportunities, economic growth in the billions, wages, income tax, sales tax, it's stunning. So when you take this an entire package, I don't think the Port Authority has seen something like this. And when it really cut the ribbon in 1950, and the New York Times the day after, I think it was December, said, there'll come a time you're going to have to revisit this because it's going to be too large, too big, or you'll outgrow it. Well, 74 years later, guess what? We've outgrown what the vision was back in 1950. And now this is the vision for the next 2, 3, and 4 decades. So all oars in the water. The Port Authority is to be one of our biggest and best and most successful and transformative projects we've ever seen in 103 years. We are excited. Let's get running. Let's get to it.
Amen to that.
Anybody else? Rick, you done with your report? Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I know Commissioner Helmy wanted to talk about some other exciting news that's going to impact this area.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate it. Just to update the board and the public, after a 2-year bid process, the City of New York and the State of New Jersey were the lucky recipients to host the World Cup final, which obviously is truly historic, and to host the Cup in this region will truly be once of a lifetime. The potential impact to the region is 14,000 new jobs, $2 billion in economic impact. Commissioner Bolwidge and I were just talking about the impact to hotels on both sides, restaurants on both sides, our hospitality, our tourism, our parks and recreation, our convenience store. And so the opportunity for job growth and creation over the next 3 years is significant. It'll obviously have a significant impact on our infrastructure, and the Port Authority, I'm sure, will be a key partner, as it has been in the bid process. And one of the things that I know the former mayor of New York and the current mayor of New York and the governor of New Jersey have continued to sell the World Cup, and FIFA specifically, has been on the resiliency and the reliability of our infrastructure, including all of our port assets, including our bridges and tunnels, our path system, and our world-class airports. So a great economic victory and a historic win for the region, and look forward to the Port Authority under your leadership, Chairman, playing a big role.
Appreciate it. Listen, great, huge win. New York and New Jersey partnering together, which I think everyone thought years ago George would be a long shot. It came out, and it's just going to be significant. And Rick, at some point, you might want to think about having an employee committee kind of focused on how we can help, work out some of the kinks that the folks, whether it's transportation. So at some point, maybe we have a separate employee committee that you can dream up and try to expedite any concerns or requests that need to be made along the way.
That makes a lot of sense, Mr. Chairman.
Terrific. All right, anybody else? If not, at this time, we're going to allow members of the public to comment on Port Authority matters. The public comment period, which may be limited to 30 minutes in total, provides an opportunity for members of the public to present and provide their statements or questions directly to the board. Members of the public wishing to discuss specific items should talk to our Port Authority staff in the back here and ask about a contact information in public affairs so they can relay very specific questions or if they want to have a meeting or follow-up. Speakers are asked to comply with a fixed time of 3 minutes. We have 10 folks have signed up. One is a video and one is a written statement, so we have 8 live speakers. Let's start with Alex Vassallo. Alex? Okay. Murray Bowden? Welcome, Murray.
Murray.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Kevin and a number of other people, I apologize for some of the things I've said over the years that I have since learned were inconsiderate and wrong. I don't do that anymore. My medical team has helped me understand myself better, and the things I've said and done in the past were vastly inappropriate, and I apologize for them all. Going forward, Rick, I had a couple of questions for you. I realized that it should go to your team somehow. I asked to meet I'm here in person because nothing works like sitting across the table from somebody. Zoom doesn't work. Rick, I'd like to meet with somebody on the team because the 2023 Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices has come out, and there are issues in there that can increase the safety and reduce costs for the Port Authority. I haven't done it and asked in the right place because we didn't have the meeting. So somewhere before I leave today, I'd like somebody to help me arrange a personal meeting. I'll come down. We'll sit, not to solve a particular issue, but to get to know each other. To have a relationship where we can discuss things and disagree, but come out with a solution to go forward. That's kind of new for me. I'll be 91 in June. I'm here because I know nothing works like standing in front of somebody and engaging personally. I also want to thank so many people at the Port Authority who've taken the time over the years to teach me how to do things. I'm not that smart. People have taken the time to tell me this is a better way to do it, and so on and so forth. So my thanks to everyone here. They've been very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. And so, a staffer will reach out to you and arrange for a meeting.
Thank you.
As far as the apology, unnecessary, Murray. You're a wonderful human being. You've added great value and great insight over the years, so I love seeing you. Okay? Thank you. Brian Libby? Brian Libby? Christopher?
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. And I want to wish everyone, the Black History Month is also my favorite holiday, but I don't want to leave out Chinese New Year, so God Hei Fa Choi, because it's coming in, and Happy Valentine's Day also. But I'm here to talk about some new things coming up for 2024. First, I do want to thank Port Authority with the Omni that is at the Jamaica Station. Glad to see it's there, but we do have a safety issue at Port Authorities at the Jamaica Station. One, the elevators are still out. And there are times the elevators there are jerking. Like if you see my hand, does this. Or it goes down so slow that we don't even know if it's working or it's safety. That is the one issue. And with that walkway we have has never worked. Now we have birds and pigeons love living there. So if we're not going to be using it, can we please try to remove it or do something? Because it's never been working before, and I asked this, and some people say it's Long Island, it's MTA, it's Port Authorities. What I'm hearing, I'm going to say it's half and half, and I agree with the noise because it sounds like it's something falling off. The concern is I'm glad we're talking about the bus terminal as well as the PATH trains, but we're always forgetting about accessibility. If any presentation, we should know, is there going to be elevators, ramps, ADA signages? We always want to see that. So can we please make sure that MTA does that? I know MTA does mentions it. When they're building something, it's going to be truly accessible, where the elevator or the ramp is going to be. That is the main thing that we need to know. And regarding the PATH trains, we still don't see disability reduced fare. And it's still not been fair because I shouldn't be going there paying a full fare, which I'm a person with a disability, may not shown, but I do have other conditions and other health. But if we have a reduced fare Metro card from the other transit divisions, why is PATH train not showing the ADA regulation that people with disabilities should be also have the right to pay a reduced fare? Seniors, thank God. But the veterans also, who have maybe those veterans who came back and they have a serious permanent injury or any kind, we need to make sure that reduced fare. So I hope our staff and I can, as well as all three of us are here today. I know Jason Anthony, I know he's in the same group with us. We do need to work on the 2024 future of making it more truly ADA accessible. And I fully support about the new bus terminal, but I have to make someone laugh. That bus terminal looks much cleaner than the one in Harris, New Jersey. Campton, New Jersey, because it's much cleaner, here is much more cleaner. I can go down and up and down with an elevator, but at least you can see the lighting is a little better. When you go to that side, it's very hard. Thank you.
You're making Diane Eller happy right there, right, Di? You smiling? Appreciate the comments, Christopher. Thank you.
It's clean.
Deborah.
I want to wish everybody Happy New Year, everybody health. Commissioner Eve, loved your speech, and I raised my son to be Mr. Feminist, okay? At the age of 5, he still thought only women were doctors. So you can see, but we're very happy to see. First of all, I grew up going in and out of the Port Authority terminal. There was one store. They used to have American Indian stuff. I missed the store, but that's okay. Now, what I'm asking is, when you build the new one, please move the elevators further forward. Where it is now, I don't like to go in the elevator right now in our current Port Authority because it's dark, all the way in the back, and I was raised to watch myself and be safe. So I only go with my sons with me because you see the height between us, and I feel safer. That's one. In reference with the out at Jamaica, can you make the sign bigger that this is a Port Authority, which is Port Authority property and which isn't? Number two, and I say this, and I have emotional anxieties, I have different illnesses. Breaks my heart because when I go into the air train area, so many of the homeless, and it's sad, and they have no appropriate place. So I hope you can work with the New York City homeless as well as the MTA so they can move them properly. Because it does, I see the tourists that come off and the looks and the things they say, we shouldn't be seeing this. And no, I'm not because I'm ashamed of, they need the help. That's what I'm hoping for. Nobody should have to live like that. Also, please advertise what you're doing for accessibility, especially when FIFA comes, because you know what? You'd be surprised how many people with disabilities are major soccer fans. They need to know that they can have buses that are accessible to take them there, as well as we can figure out making more ramps. I mean, people don't realize not all people with disabilities are poor. You'd be surprised how rich a lot of them are. And the one thing I get from them regularly, because we're on different social medias, people forget that I have money, but why should I pay $100 or more when everybody who has I should be able to get on regular public transportation accessibly? And one thing Chris is right. When we went to Atlantic City and I showed my reduced fare, they honored that. Atlantic City did. I don't understand why PATH, even New Jersey Transit, honored my reduced fare. So can we fix something? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jesse Figueroa?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jesse Figueroa. This is my first meeting. Congratulations to all the newly appointed board members.
Thank you.
I wish you a successful year. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. And
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir. With the disability, well, a few topics I like to bring out when these 3 minutes and counting is to improve the accessibility infrastructure at Jamaica Station, also at Howard Beach, and various Port Authority facilities. But the elevator problems, they need to be taken. I ask that they be taken care of, and this other stuff, and the homeless people at the area that goes into AirTrain to JFK from Jamaica, please help them. And also, the Omni thing works at Howard Beach now in Jamaica, so it's a lot of good things I want to bring about, but it's too much right now. But for now, oh yeah, and also for PATH, please, please, please implement that for commuters with disabilities, especially veterans. That's all I got. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jesse. Ann Menino? Ann Menino? Okay. George Pilferi? I'm sorry, I screwed it up, George.
I'm used to speaking, so bear with me. I actually couldn't have picked a better day to come. I was actually going to cancel because of the work hours. I'm an employee at one of the facilities. I've been with the port for 14 years. There have been some ups and downs in this time. This is my fourth meeting attended, third time speaking. Over the last few years, I try to tune into the meetings when I can to see what's going on. One thing I always noticed is that both Rick and Kevin take the time to thank their employees. This shows they value the employee and their labor. I want to take this time to thank them and all the board members for all they have done since they've been here. Before their tenure, the government agency was going through the motions, but seemingly on a treadmill. Almost from the time they were appointed, they set the agency on a clear path forward. There were long outdated contracts with various unions that were unsettled, as well as many new projects that have been upgraded and updated. There have been astonishing amount of work at the airports, the bridge, that is still underway, that has helped transform them into modern transportation hubs, as we've already spoken about. It has also helped create good jobs in the construction industry for many contractors and their employees. One meeting, I think it was the last one, you mentioned the use of the barges to transport material to keep the congestion down, which I thought was a great idea. Off topic, speaking of congestion, I'm a little curious as to what the board's feeling is on congestion pricing, but we're going to jump back to what I was saying. In addition to acknowledging the workforce, Rick and Kevin and some staff took the time to visit the facilities and the employees in person recently, and to see to get feedback on issues at each facility. I'm hoping they were listening, because as much as they have done, there are things that could use some more attention. Again, to conclude, I want to thank you, Rick and Kevin, and everyone on the board who has helped bring about much-needed change to the area. I'm looking forward to more improvements in the future, including the bus terminal, which, was spoken of, and I really had no idea what this meeting was going to be about, but I'm glad I came. I'd like to...
George, A+ for your public speaking.
Thanks, buddy.
Honestly, really appreciate your...
And I'm not a plant here.
I've never met this man. George, 14 years, thank you very much for those kind words, honestly. And, we love the feedback, and we want to improve upon that. So the more feedback we get from the employees, Rick and I and the whole board, senior staff, this is what we act upon and look forward to. Thank you. All right, so we have a video, a written statement, and a video. So with regards to the written statement, Jim, do we read that, or does it just get read into the record?
We file it with the transcripts of today's meeting. It was Matt Magida, and it was with respect to accommodations during Grove Street path.
So that's part of the minutes?
Accommodations, yes.
And the video?
The video they're ready to play now, it's Matthew Bucky's Highland.
Correct, and that's the last public speaker? Yes? Let's play that video, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Matty W. Bucky's Highland. I want to speak today about toll payment methods for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. The Easy Pass, which is the largest here in the United States, could work as far south as Florida and as west as Minnesota. However, there should also be acceptable payment methods on the bridge, such as the Sun Pass and the E-Pass, which is accepted by the Central Florida Expressway Authority. The board should consider having those as acceptable payment methods for them, because if kids or parents want to see their kids up in New York, they should not have get them told by mail, instead get it on their account. I hope the board would consider that. Thank you. God bless you, and have a good day, Mr. O'Toole.
Thank you. Now we're going to ask the corporate secretary to confirm that there's no other written or videos.
That's correct.
Great, appreciate that. Let's move ahead. We'll now proceed with the voting on the item before us, before the board for consideration. I'm going to call upon the Vice Chair, Vice Chair Linford, to provide his report on behalf of the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Chair of the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management, I will now report on an item under the committee's purview. The item, as presented earlier at today's public board meeting, authorizes $210 million in additional funding for planning and engineering services to support the Midtown Bus Terminal Replacement Program. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioner recusals.
There are no recusals.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have questions or comments on this item? I now request a motion on this item.
So moved.
Second, please. Second. I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for voting on the item.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bullwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
As the votes are in order, this item is approved, and I turn it back to our chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chair. There being no further business, move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's now adjourned. We'll see everybody in March. Thank you.
Thank you.